Any company, the profit and the loss are temporary.
Yeah.
Everyone adapts. Every company has a natural capability to adapt at times depending on the situations, right? So the only thing which you have to do is that select the company and invest early. How early? For a person who has just completed his career shift today, if he got any savings, he must invest today. This is his early time.
Right.
A person who has never done his investment and he's already a senior master, he should start investing today. So early is the day he understands that he needs. It's any day could be early.
Hi everybody. So today's podcast is especially interesting because it's applicable to every seafarer around the world, but it has got nothing to do with our knowledge of seafaring. So we're going to talk about the financial literacy of seafarers and how we can improve on how we manage our finances, our funds. And for that we have in the studio today Captain Partho Shahapuddar. Now Partho has been an old friend and he's been investing his money for the last 22 years, managing his own portfolio for the last 22 years. He's become, he turned into, he got his command in 2011, became a millionaire long time back, several years back, and has been constantly beating benchmarks, every financial benchmarks, which is over and above the fund managers that handle hundreds of millions of dollars. He's beating their performance year on year. Today, he's an angel investor. And at 46, after 28 years of sailing, he has invested in a way that his earning from his investments is actually beating his earning from sea. So having said that, let me introduce Partho to the studio. And thank you, Partho, for coming.
Hi.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a fascinating journey. We met about 22 years back and we've been friends ever since. But during this time, a little bit about yourself.
First of all, thank you for inviting me to get myself in front of your viewers. Yes, we first met, our friendship started now almost 22 years, I guess. Yeah, we are quite old on that way. We met during one of our examination centers.
Yeah.
And then all the way 22 years is just gone by.
Of course. It just seems yesterday. And
seems yesterday, yes.
Yeah.
So many years of memories.
And you've been one of those people that I've always known to be very, very financially literate, aware, and not because of anything else, but you just loved that thing about yourself. So how did this journey start and how did it all?
Actually, it's a very old say which I always believed and like. I always believed and like that, you earn, you work and you earn, and then you make sure that your money also earns.
Right.
So I was always attracted to this, that yes, I'm earning my money and just make sure that my money also earns.
Right.
So from my beginning years, I guess I started my investment journey when I was cadet. So from the beginning, I was very sure that yes, as a seafarer or as a person, my finances, I should be responsible and I should take the responsibility, take the control of my finances. No one understands myself and my necessity better than anyone. So in case of finance, yes, I should be the right person to decide. Of course, that needs a lot of learning because without knowledge, you cannot move also.
This is, I think, very interesting what you touched upon because I have seen a lot of people believe that they are the best decision makers about their finances without the knowledge that you're talking about. And when that happens, when I try to decide my finances without the knowledge, I'm very often taking all kinds of wrong decisions, but I am very confident that this is the right decision at that point of time. So, and this is interesting. I mean, today you've also, as I understand, you've become a certified financial advisor, a CFA, and which is
long back. Yes, long back. I guess the first thing when I was a cadet, when I started earning money from my job and started savings. I mean, end of my contract, I could see that I have saved some money. So, of course, those money, the first utilization need to be for my professional commitment. That is for my own profession. As a mariners, we have to go through a lot of exams. So, to go through the courses, to the college fees and the examination fees, right? So, my purpose of those funds was my professional requirement. Then, even after that, I used to save lot. We all used to save lot. So, with those savings, I decided onto myself, yes, this is what we need to do. We need to start early, and I need to manage my own money. But the question was how? There are so many things, which way to go, how to start, right? So, okay, decision taken, I need to manage my own money. That was the first decision. But then it came how. So, then, the only thing which came into my mind is that I need to learn. I need to understand the universe, Once I know the universe, then I can take the decisions. Because in our profession, we are trained from our very first day to take decisions. We are very good decision makers anywhere in our profession for any ranks.
Right.
So I thought, okay, when I have this quality or I am getting groomed to that quality, I believe I could take those decisions also in my life, the financial decisions. But for that, I need to understand the universe, that financial universe. So I started doing my my financial advice. There was a course on those days. Still, it is there. They used to call it Certified Financial Advisor. So I started doing it. It was a postal course. I mean, you don't. It's like you're not there physically present. Those days, it was all postal. Emails just started. Those days, who was there?
Which year are you talking about?
This is 2021, 2001.
2001.
2001, right.
Wow, that is 23 years back.
Yes, 23 years back, I started doing, at that time I was a cadet, and then, yes, I started, I just completed my cadetship, right? So I said, okay, let's learn the certificate finance, learn the things, and then in the bargain, they certified me as a financial advisor. But I never gave any advice to anyone.
Sure.
It was just a certificate which came free for learning.
Right.
And I became my own advisor, and then the journey started.
Fantastic. And I think it is important to clarify at this point of time, and help me do this, that whatever we are going to talk about today, at least from your perspective, is your personal journey. You are not trying to say this is the right or wrong thing to do. It is your journey, and as well as it has to be clarified that this would take different shapes in different parts of the world internationally, but your experience primarily is in the Indian financial market.
Right.
But I believe what you were telling me earlier, that that some of these concepts are very, very international.
Right. You can always correlate. And the same jargons, the same things are available in every countries.
Right.
Okay, the return of those asset classes, the returns could be different, but as an investment perspective, as an investment, managing your investment as a seafarer, yes, that's same everywhere.
Understood. And something interesting that you also mentioned about is that you do carry out, financial literacy classes on board with the ship's crew. Yes. I want to listen a little bit about that. I mean,
okay.
How do you start?
Once I settled down after I took my command, after a couple of years, when I settled down as a master, well off, I found that we are all good in many things. In our professional aspects, we are good. We are good to achieve the KPI set by the company, to achieve very easily what the industry wants. We were very good managers onto our boats, but we were lacking a very important quality of our own life.
Right.
That is managing our own finances. During my cadetship, as my cadetship started those days with a lot of multinationals, I used to have a lot of European officers in my boats. Then you have got East Asians people. I have learned during my cadetship, I have noticed that many people used to come back at sea at a very old age. I have sailed with masters who are more than 70.
Right.
And I could see my mates, the age of my mates are 67, 68, I have sailed with them. They are quite old, but still they are working. So very normal questions used to come, like why they are working at these ages when the salaries in this industry is handsome.
Right.
So, after a lot of interactions with these people, I came to understand the problem which they gone through. All of them, irrespective of the nationality, is they are very good in what they are doing on board,
Right.
but they are very, very bad. They never actually gave importance to the financial life,
Right.
for which they have no options but to come back.
Got it. Right. So and what you and today that literacy journey which you started in 2001 has taken you to a point where you are actually beating the people that are in the financial market in your own, in your own growth of your own money. You're actually beating the benchmarks that are industry benchmarks. How does that happen? I mean, how can you beat? You are a professional in the shipping industry. How did you become better than? And I could understand maybe at par, but how did you become better? I mean, does that journey occur?
Okay, actually, the only reason I can say is that I never had any targets. So when you talk about the industry fund managers, the money managers, they all have targets.
Right.
They have something to prove. For me, I have nothing to prove. I am not questionable to anyone. So I have got luxury. I got that freedom.
Yeah.
So it's my money, it's my way, and it's my understanding. I am competing with anyone. So every year I don't have to put my numbers in front of anyone, or I am answerable to anyone. So that was the advantage probably. And on a hindsight, after years, when I checked myself in comparison, that was for my own understanding.
Yeah.
When I compared myself with others, I found yes, I'm miles off, and I think that's the key.
Miles ahead, you mean?
Miles ahead.
Okay.
Miles and miles ahead. Actually, I'll say this is because I don't have anything. I'm not answerable. I'm not the churnings, everything's they are minimum.
All right.
They are always in a hurry to prove something. On my case, there is nothing.
Yeah, but we will have to circle back to this discussion because we want to get into the details of what exactly are you doing right.
Course.
Because this, if it is repeatable, I mean, if you have a formula which you have established, of course, if you are willing to share it with us, that if you have a formula which is repeatable and it is better than industry standards in the financial sector, that is something phenomenal. I think this is maybe you stumbled upon it by chance, or did you, because as you said, you did not have targets. But today, I mean, if it is a one-off case, as I understand, it's a repeatable thing that you're doing.
Yes.
It's definitely,
it's a process.
It's a process.
Right.
That is important. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to this in details. But I have also, whoever I've sailed with, and including me, by the way, I mean, we have at some point of time, initially we were, when we were out at sea, we were living with our parents, we were depending on our parents. And then came a stage, very fast, I must say, as compared to other professions, very fast, we became self-sufficient, we could handle our own finances, we did not want to take help or did not need to take help from our parents. Then came a stage, again, very fast, that we were taking care of our parents. We did not, we gave them the life that they would, and both of us have done it individually with our parents, I know that. Then comes a stage where you have sufficient income to handle your life, to handle your parents and every other responsibility, and then you have surplus funds. When you have that, I have seen in many cases, as you mentioned already, that we are poor financial managers. How do you feel that, does our profession qualify us for managing finances, or we are sort of, yeah.
You see, if I start with my journey, there are 2-3 things which touched me. When I was a cadet, I found that people are coming back at sea on a senior ranks on a very higher age basket.
Yeah, as you
on a
mentioned,
very
yes.
higher age bucket, they are coming back. Now that question came into mind, why they are coming back, and it was not 1 or 2 case, it's all the way. So then I understood, yes, savings investment is required. So I am working to earn this money, and this profession gives a lot of money. I must ensure that my money also earns, irrespective of I am earning or I am not. That means if I am on board, still the money should earn. When I am back at home, it should earn. Now, going into the journey, I also understand that my profession is actually able to give me such qualities which is absolutely required to manage your finances, or it is more or less or better, I would say, at some aspect. Those qualities are better than what the fund managers should possess or generally possess.
Hey, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
you see, in our professions, there are the good points which gives into our profession is that accountability, planning, risk assessment.
Right.
We manage a risk every day, every moment.
Yeah.
So back of our mind, whatever we do, we think for mitigations. In our profession, we know our limits, and based on the limits only we do the risk assessment.
Right.
The mitigations are done by itself, and we do not know what is coming ahead. I mean, we are prepared for everything.
We are prepared. We are agile. You're saying.
Right.
We have to be agile and
You have to
flexible.
agile means what's next we don't know.
You pivot as you need.
Yes. So that actually teaches us to be ready for everything.
Yes.
So we keep our plans. We have our contingencies plan sets for that.
And you're
So
saying
this is very much synonym in for an investment manager.
These are the exact same qualities that you need to be a good investment
Not
manager.
only that, life at sea, we know what is a calm seas is, and we know what is coming after a calm seas.
Yeah.
Okay, so there could be a rough weather, and at times when the weather is rough, at times we can't sit properly, we can't sleep properly, we can't eat properly. So the weather is so choppy.
Yeah.
In an investment universe, things happens.
Right.
Many big things happens. 9/11 had happened, which had shaken the world of the investment too. In Indian aspect, there was demonetizations. We recently had COVID all over the world.
Yeah.
The whole economy of the world came crashing down.
2011.
We have got many wars. We witnessed many wars over the world.
Right.
Even now, there are a lot of geopolitical issues are happening.
Yeah.
So these things are always there. I could easily correlate, or anyone among us could easily correlate as a rough weather, a patches
Yeah.
in the investment journey.
Right.
But we are, because of into our profession, we see this, that's normal. We know that yes, this is temporary.
Sure.
Again, this will go away. This is just temporary. We don't get panicked. It's part and parcel of the life.
And I remember a decision that you had discussed with me, and I clearly remember it because I felt it was something very, very, out of the ordinary. That when the financial crisis happened in 2008, and our benchmark Sensex basically fell from 22,000 all the way to about 7,500, if I remember, or maybe around that range. I'm not sure about it exactly, the numbers, but when it came down really low and all of us were really scared. In fact, I personally had a lot of investment done in the mutual funds sector. I did not withdraw anything, but the moment it touched back to the original, I started withdrawing. But what you did when the Sensex was really low, when it was literally falling like a plane crash, you invested even more at that point. And that is something I remember because and we were, I think, second officers, and both of us, we were second officers at that time, and we did not have so much of money to sort of throw around. So that decision probably then tripled your money over the next 2 to 3 years, if I remember correctly. And talk about it. I mean, how do you come to such a decision when the whole world is taking a different decision? And is it just a cool-headed approach, or is it just something that you felt like, or do you think that kind of an approach would apply to everybody?
I can only correlate it what it happened inside me. I could easily correlate. We all have called, all the seafarers. I understand most of the viewers will be seafarers. We know what is a rough weather. We have all experienced many times in our life. And every time we face a rough weather, we knew it will be a matter of days, if not hours. And then things will be normal.
Right.
So in a financial universe, it's the same thing. What you just shared, things crashes down for some reasons. There are reasons. It's all human psychology. People get scared, they move out.
Yeah.
But our professions have said, hold your position, hold yourself on the sofa, hold yourself on the table, hold the plates, hold the glass.
Yeah.
And do your job. We don't stop working, right? So the same thing I did. my complete, whatever I have achieved in my life as a part of investing journey comes everything from my own profession. That's sea life.
You can easily correlate it. So what you're saying is everything that you have learned in your profession also applies to the financial market.
Right.
And
We can easily, every qualities, based on those qualities, I have actually envisaged a process. And through that process, by process, the qualities are all coming from the profession of a seafarer.
right.
And everything can be correlated. I can give you bullet points. That is the thing which can be adopted by your viewers
Right.
if they wish to, and be successful finally in their life.
Fantastic.
First, from the beginning, make sure you are working very hard to earn the money. Make sure you are earning your money equally
Works hard.
to earn that. So your money should be also earning for you.
Yeah.
So this is point number 1. Point number 2 is that you will have special situations. Use it. Example, as a navigator, when the weather is rough, you do not revive your engines. You don't rev your engines, right? You just slow down. Stay. Hold your positions. And the weather is favorable, put your engines all ahead. Complete
Right.
full ahead. Increase the RPM as much as possible. Right. So do not go against the force. Be with the force. And don't be scared. Just hold your positions.
Okay.
You will get opportunity. Move ahead. This is one thing. Understand your capabilities. Understand your limitations. Deploy the risk assessment. You understand contingencies. There will be emergencies in your life, contingency in your life. Prepare for all the scenarios. Like we do drills, we can pluck out situations. For your own life, you can actually, we are all different, right?
Right.
So, we being different, everyone will have different situations, different requirements back home. Our geographics will be different. Situations back in India, situations somewhere in other place of the world will be different. So, you highlight whatever your requirement is based on your geographical location and your family, and then you can actually chalk it out what is necessary. So, you make your contingencies, make sure the funds are available for the contingencies, have different investment avenues.
Yeah.
And most importantly, do not fear if there is a rough weather.
Yeah.
Hold your
Let's say
position,
that, yeah.
and then the moment the situation becomes normal, increase. Instead of withdrawing, increase. Deploy more.
Understood.
And concentrate onto your job while you are on sea. Forget what you have been done with your investment. Just leave it. The fund managers do not have the luxury to do this, but we seafarers have the luxury to do this. When we are at sea, we are completely bogged up with our job. Forget the investment. That is done. When you go back, give time to your family. You are not answerable to anyone. You are not answerable to your shareholders, to your investors community. Leave it like that. The moment you have funds, deploy them. Keep some reserves. As you do reserves, everything on your sea life, you have got reserves. Because if something finishes at sea, there is no one to replenish. So we always work with reserves. Keep your reserves and move on.
Awesome. I think that is some fantastic set of tips to ponder upon. And I think you've pretty much explained the idle fund we have to deploy the idle funds.
Right.
Now, let's go a little bit into the details now. Into the financial sector. So, for example, in my layman's understanding, we've got several investment instruments. There is property, there is gold, there is the money market. Within the money market, there is debt and equity, there are mutual funds, there are shares and other things. So can you sort of explain, from coming from a top-down approach, that just a little bit discussion on what you feel about these things as a seafarer, especially as a seafarer, where would you suggest and how would you suggest to strategize? And this could differ from person to person, but just your perspective on this.
Yeah, if you talk about sectors, investment sectors, different sectors, well, what I did because I was a core seafarer. So whatever I learned from my seafarer professions, I have deployed that. I have exactly replicated what I have learned onto this. people, different part of the world, people could not be able to deploy, the assets may not be available or the returns might be different. And also, the necessities and their understanding could be different. The basic thing which I always had in mind is that if I have to take risk, being at sea itself is risky. So when I can take that risk,
Yeah.
I can always take risk on the higher asset classes where the risk is more.
Okay.
I'm talking about equities where conventionally the risk is more.
Okay.
So it was very easy for me because I'm living my day in, day out. My family is also living with the risk at sea. So why not? If I have to put my money, I should always select the most risky asset. Conventionally, over a period of time, the riskiest asset is considered as equity. And it is a class where in every country you have it, right?
What you're saying is equity shares, like
Shares, equity,
direct
right,
investment
right,
into
right.
equity shares,
Right.
buying a share of a company
A
and
listed
then
company.
keeping it a listed company,
company.
a listed company, a public company, and then first of all you have to do some detailed in-depth study about which company is going to grow and how are they doing now, and
Yes,
before
how
you
many
trust
in-depth
your
studies?
money, right?
In-depth studies. When I started my journey, there were no such those days. 22 years back. Nowadays, you have a lot of things available on the internet. Informations are not readily available on those days. So when I started my journey, even I do the same thing now. I draw myself onto a whiteboard, onto a piece of a paper. I draw myself. It is me, and then it's me means me, a human being.
Yes.
And then I started circling that human being with the necessity. On an Indian context, we used to say roti, kapra, makan.
Right.
So these are the basic necessities.
Yeah.
Roti means food,
Yes.
kapra means clothes, and makan means house. A property
Yeah.
where you live.
Right.
So it's a basic, very basic needs. And then I kept on circling that as a human being, you will need entertainment, you will need your leisure life entertainment, you will need you need medicals. Okay, you will need pharmaceuticals.
Those are your
pharmacies,
basic
medicals.
necessities. Yes.
So what
of
a
course.
human being, what it needs, it will, a human being wants, he want to live every day, he want to consume every day, the pulses, the cereals, everything, the fast moving consumer goods. So these are everything which a human being will need. It also needs security, protection. So I'm talking about defense, right? It also needs information technology. IT is there everywhere in your life. So what I did, I actually drawn myself onto a page, onto a whiteboard, and then I started circling myself the basic needs. The first circle will be the must, and then the second circle will be
Good to have.
and then keep on increasing.
Aspirations.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So that way, when I understand that these are the sectors, as long as human being is there in the world, they will need this. And then I started to find out, okay, if it is food, and if I have to invest in India, which company shall I select as to invest?
Okay.
As to invest, it's not that company food I am consuming, but on an Indian context, which company will all the way stay afloat?
Right.
They will not go bankrupt, because being into my profession, at months I am off the sea. I don't have access to the funds. So if there is any bad news, I may not have an exit.
Yeah.
Right. So I always wanted to make sure that whichever company, that was the only criteria, to find the company as per the human needs, and then I'm talking about the sectors as per the human needs, and then identify a company onto that sector which can have the capability to survive all the way long, at least
Okay.
more survivably than my life,
So
so
what
that
you're
my
saying-
money is safe.
So okay, that's very interesting. So what you're saying is, you have $10 to invest, or $100, or $100,000, whatever you have that money. Now your process, as you're saying, is first focus on the necessities that people need around the world, which is food and shelter.
Right.
And security and IT and other
That
things
helps you
that
to identify
mentioned.
the sector.
That helps you to identify the sector, which makes a lot of sense. And then you identify which companies will remain
In that sector.
for the next 20
This you
25
can
years.
easily do without churning the data. Easily.
Okay.
See, for any company, the profit and the loss are temporary.
Yeah.
Everyone adapts. Every company has a natural capability to adapt
To
at
adapt.
times depending on the situations, right?
Wonderful.
So the only thing which you have to do is that select the company and invest early. How early? For a person who has just completed his careership today, if he got any savings, he must invest today. This is his early time.
Right.
A person who has never done his investment and he's already a senior master, he should start investing today. So early is the day he understands that he needs. It's any day could be early day.
Absolutely.
The journey need to start.
Absolutely. So bias is on get something done. Just start. Don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Don't
Right.
just have a coffee time discussion about it. Do it.
Do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. What Nike says.
Nike,
just do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the Nike slogan.
Yes.
So
No,
that's
the
very
thing is
powerful.
that in our profession you will have a lot of disposable funds. Normally, what happens once you are back in vacation, apart from your daily course, daily necessity, you'll have end of the day you'll have substantial funds lying idle.
So I would like to clarify this, that when you say disposable, lot of disposable funds, what you really mean is for the officer class, or for the, because there would be other,
Even for the crew.
for the crew, maybe not a lot of disposable funds, maybe some, or maybe they have their own, everybody has their own responsibility. So that might be a variable factor. Even I know a master who actually spends about half of his salary on a mortgage that he has taken. Given that he's sailing for about 7-8 months of the year, he has zero disposable funds. In fact, most of the years he has got to sail for 10 or 12 months. So that is not a person, that is variable part, of course. I mean, people have other responsibilities which might differ into medical responsibilities for parents or for kids or for their own, which might take away. So what I understand from you is that whatever disposable funds you have, depending on your situation, you have to absolutely invest it today. I mean, there is no time. It's not like a right time.
See, there is no point to keep your funds idle. It does not earn you. The
Yes.
money is not working.
Correct.
Now, coming to the whatever you said now, there are two aspects onto it. I mean, according to me, there are two aspects. One is if I talk about the crew, in any nationality, any crew, a person earnings and a person expenses is according to his lifestyle, according to the rank or the status of the society.
His or her. Yes.
According to officer's perspective, his savings may be less, but he is having savings.
Yeah.
It's all about managing your finances. We are poor, we are very bad as a seafarer when it comes to money managers.
Money managers.
Right. A person, on your second aspect, when you said you're talking about a person who is into debt for having a property and going on. I think according to me, no one should buy property. According to me, okay. It's according to me. If someone is buying a property, it should be solely for his consumption. According to me,
that is in the Indian context, you're saying.
I would say that it could be. You need to actually work out. You have to do a math.
Right.
Once you put it on the papers and then take a decision. See, first thing is that you need a home, you need a house, you need a own property to live.
Sure.
That is absolutely okay to take debt and buy a property. That is absolutely okay because it's a necessity.
Sure.
Then if you talk about investment, then you have to do a math. Investment, buying a second home or a land, when you can get an exit, at what price. It's not what you wish, what you believe to get, because those are the things which is not there in your hand.
Yeah.
The development of the area and that. Then finally, whatever maintenance you have to pay to hold that property, and finally taking the profit after paying the tax. Now, once you do this math is different. Even in India, in the place where we live or anywhere in the world, these are all different.
Yes.
Once you have the numbers on your paper, you can actually do exploration that is it necessary? Are you having a better
option too?
At a specific geographical location, you might have a better. At a particular country, at a particular geographic location, you might have a better avenue, a better category of investment where it might yield more.
Right.
And with a less hassles.
Understood.
It's not only the return, it's not only the money. See, we all earn. I think the point is, it's not how much we are earning. It's how conveniently at what leverage we are earning it. How easily.
How easily.
Example, a person who is earning $100 working 10 hours, a person who is doing nothing and earning $100. I think there is a big difference. The person who is doing nothing to earn that, nothing is to earn that $100, he is not doing anything.
Sure.
Probably he is enjoying the life. He is with his family, with his kids, with his whatever he likes to do in his life, he is into that. He is actually cherishing his hobby. He is having that freedom, and the $100 is coming. I think, according to me, it's more better, the second option.
Correct.
That I do nothing to earn that $100 and I am free to do what I love to do.
So today, as we mentioned in the beginning, that you're not sailing right now. You're not sailing. Not that you don't want to sail or something. You might just go sailing someday if you want, but you don't have to, as you said. I mean, It's not a necessity for you. Now, having said that, you also mentioned that you're actually earning the same amount of money that you would have earned as a master on a ship. So, how many hours a day is this investment for you? How many hours in your day do you have to invest to earn this kind of money on an average?
Well, I am not into trading. So, I don't trade. So,
again, you've got to go back and explain these words, because many of us do not, when you say trade exactly. So, we'll come back to those definitions. But
honestly, if you talk about earning money, how many hours I give, I just read things. Probably I'm reading the company's.
And that's a passion that you have.
It's just reading. I'm not working anything. And there's no time. I can read it while I'm traveling into my car, or while I'm having my coffee, or just sitting idle. It's just being in touch with the industry, what is happening into the industry I'm doing. And, that way I'm not actively doing anything. It's all passive. And the only thing I'm doing is being in touch to each and every investments. It's not only equities, different investment I have done. So that's only thing I need to see, that how they are growing. It's like, once you have plants, the plants does not need much care. Okay.
Just
often you need to water, and it's not regular you have to water. It depends on how the soil is, right? And every plant in your home will be having a different requirement by plant way or by the location where you have kept the plant.
Right.
So my job is, as a gardener, on that perspective, check around the plants, which needs water I water, which needs putting fertilizers I fertilize, or I just do nothing, watch my flowers and the fruits growing and enjoy. So
Fantastic.
There is no active involvement.
Fantastic. This is very encouraging. And even the involvement that you're talking about is, in your case, an entertainment, because that is your passion. That is reading about the financial market. I have known you for some time, so I can understand that's also not like a job. But so now I want to get into a little bit of details into exactly what you are doing, right? What is the formula? Whatever you can share with us, and feel free to say that I cannot share this with you or whatever. That is perfectly fine.
I can always share. It's all about the process.
No, I'm just putting it out there, because there might be some proprietary things which are.
No.
So this is very powerful thing that you're doing now. Now, first of all, if coming from this journey, from the time when you were a junior officer all the way up to now, could you, and I know that at some point of time you were also buying properties, and that was some time. So just if you can break down for me how you have managed your finances and over the years, and now what you're doing, coming to that journey to today.
Right. Before I start, I must also tell to your viewers that I have done a lot of mistakes. Things happen, a lot of accidents happen into my financial journey. But after all those accidents, all those mistakes, I still earn what I used to earn while I was sailing.
Right.
Even with those accidents there.
So the accidents will happen. That doesn't mean
happen. It also happens in our profession. So what happens in our sea, when there is something, we do a complete analysis of those, and we try to find out what's the reason without blaming someone. In this case, one should not blame himself or herself. Need to find out what was the reason. What was the thought process where it gone wrong, and how it could be prevented in future. We are good on this.
Right.
So as I said before, in my investment journey or into any seafarer's investment journey, it is very, very easy to follow being an investor as being a seafarer, because those things, which elements which is needed to being a successful, it is very much there in our profession, in, day out.
Yeah.
So, so that all those accidents which had happened, you do your analysis, and there will be also many near miss scenarios. So you need to take a call, understand that, and learn and adapt yourself.
Right.
Right. So I would say that if you talk about the sectors and avenues, from a seafarer's perspective, from my perspective and the seafarer's perspective, we are the best, best class, human class, to invest into equities. I would suggest all seafarers, wherever they are, wherever they live, there will be a stock exchanges, there will be listed companies, India or abroad. Invest into equities. That will, because equities have the highest risk. They are very volatile. We seafarers, we deal on risk day in, day out. Volatility, the weather is really volatile. The job we do, everything is volatile. The things which we handle, if you were into a tanker, is volatile. So we know how to handle volatility. So that is there.
Yeah.
And the biggest aspect, biggest advantage of being a seafarer is that you are away from home for months. That allows you to have your investment invested, stay put all the way.
But if you are investing all your money into something very volatile, that is very much against every suggestion that I've ever heard, because they all say that don't put all your eggs in the same basket.
Definitely. Never put your eggs into one basket.
What you're saying is, if you have, let's say I have expendable income that I want to invest, and this is after taking care of my necessities and other things, I have expendable income of, let's say, $100,000. Are you saying put all the $100,000 into a volatile stock?
I would say that one must put the maximum weightage on equity.
Yeah, so that is what I'm coming to. That exactly how would you sort of quantify or distribute?
You cannot make a percentage, though there are many certified financial advisors, there are many fund managers, there are many learning sites available on the internet who does weightage deployment based on someone's age. I would say it is even not applicable for a seafarer. Look into me. I have retired, so-called retirement. I stopped sailing at the age of 46.
Yeah.
That means I actually have lived my life. I mean, if I'm stopping at 46, probably I have 20, 30 years of my life I have more lived. Right. So, according to age, it won't happen. What a person or seafarers need to find out is that what is his surplus, disposable amount, after addressing all the responsibilities he got back home.
Sure.
Once he can understand that, now let's consider that as 100%. And this figure, every year will be different. As he progresses on his career, it will be different. It will be more, not less.
Okay.
And it will be, it will be quite a lot. Every year, the increment will be quite a lot.
Provided you maintain you are out of the country for more than 6 months and you maintain the non-resident status. That is what, right? Yeah.
Yes. So, if I want to make a process for your viewers, people who are starting, people who are already in their early days of the career.
Yeah, and you said they should start with an NRE account. They should have an NRE account.
They must have an NRE account.
Yeah.
Right. So, or similar accounts in abroad where
non-resident accounts.
Yeah, where the interests on the earnings, on the deposits are tax free.
Right.
So this is I know many. I mean, what you were saying is that if a person is not completing 183 days, that year that earning will be not exempted, right?
Yeah.
But all this previous earning, whatever is there, any interest on his NRA account is not taxable.
Right.
So that income for that year he have to pay income tax.
Right.
the income.
Yeah.
But the NRE account, interest earned on the NRE account is tax free.
Tax free.
There is no TDS.
Right.
Right. So if that also considered as a taxable, you need to file separately. The important is that to have an NRE account in an Indian context, not to have a savings account.
Right.
Ordinary savings account.
Of course.
Yes. The second best thing they must do is that I'm talking about overall from Indian context for all beginners, they must have a national pension scheme (NPS) account.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a NPS account is a universal account which has been provided by the government of India. They must open it a NPS. Into any banks they believe, they are confident with, they can open. The important is to open it NPS. Nowadays everything you can open it online, so you can just open it. This ensures that you are actually going to have a pension end of your life or when you reach 60.
Sure.
That's normally 60 in Indian context. It's considered as a as a government. If you are doing a government job, that's a retirement age considered where you get the pensions back.
Right.
So in our profession, as there is no pension, you can create a fund, a bucket where you can get your pension when you attain that age.
Right.
Right. So for that you need to start early. More early you start, minimum amount you have to pay. Okay. I'm talking about, say for example, these numbers you can find out. Do not concentrate on the numbers, but you can concentrate on the multiples.
Right.
If a person right now is paying 5,000 rupees or say about $50, $55, $60 now every month, he will be probably getting 12 times or 14 times as a pension. I'm talking about a cadet.
Yeah.
Right now, completed his exam, just going to join as a junior officer.
Okay.
If he starts with $55, $60 per month,
right,
he can easily get 14 times minimum, 14 times when he achieves his age of 60.
And he's going to keep paying this amount.
Right. So $50 or $60 at this age, at these initial ages of his career, could be substantial.
Yeah.
But then as he progresses, it will be peanut for him, and he can continue.
Of course.
Right. So that's the advantage of the NPS. He must have an NPS. He must, if he is not married, this is my understanding, if his parents are not dependent to him, he can easily ignore the insurance part.
Okay.
In case his parents are dependent or he is having his own family to take care of, he must take insurance, and that insurance must be a term insurance. Talking about life insurance.
Term insurance. Yeah. Okay. So if you die, you get paid X amount. That kind of an insurance.
Right.
You don't get paid unless
when you are into profession, there is a separate insurance, but that insurance is not covered when you are back home.
Sure.
Right.
Of course.
So this is about your life insurance, and that covers even when you are at sea. It's your life insurance.
Even in the life insurance, you are suggesting, so there are two kinds of life insurance. One is that you will be paying this, and if you, in case of death, you will get back so much amount, like what life insurance of India and others do. And there's another concept of term insurance. So you do not withdraw this, and only on termination or only in case of death you get it. So are you suggesting the second one or the first one?
I'm talking about wherever you are there in the world, wherever you are located, look into a life insurance which is basic insurance, where the process is very simple. You pay a money, a premium as a premium, and it is forfeited every year unless there is a claim, and the only claim which can happen is the insured person's death. Right. So that your family after you is taken care of. Okay. Now this I will only suggest for a newcomer into our industry if he is having his parents dependent. Nowadays I could see many people are joining sea where their parents are not dependent. On this case, this is not a necessary. This becomes your expenses.
Okay.
Right. So this is not an investment. So it's just expenses. You are just taking care of a risk.
A contingency.
A risk.
Contingency.
It's just a risk premium you are paying to make sure that if you are not there, your dependents are taken care of.
Yeah, of course.
Now you must start a health insurance even on beginning. So you must have an NRE account, you must open an NPS account on an Indian context, and you must have a health insurance. Okay. Irrespective of your company, present employer is giving you or not. if your present employer is giving, you must have a health insurance covering at least yourself if you do not have your own family.
Yeah.
And it should not cover your parents. Should not. Because that increases the premium.
Okay.
So you must have your own insurance, health insurance. And if your employer is giving you right now, have your own health insurance with a minimum sum assured. The idea is that all this health insurance have got some years as a condition for covering your pre-existing disease.
Sure.
And the more early you start, you save the future premiums more way.
Absolutely.
Right. So you can, the portability is there by the Indian government. You can always port to some other insurers whenever you feel like there is a reason.
Yeah.
The idea is to start.
Right.
And why I'm saying that if your employer, even if the employer gives you this facility, I'm saying because tomorrow if you leave that company and you select a different employer, they will just withdraw this facility. Then you are without that umbrella.
Yes.
Now once you have your own, the umbrella is there with you. And you can always increase the sum assured as and when necessary. Today you start with yourself. Tomorrow when you get married, you include your family,
right,
your wife. Tomorrow when you have a kid, you can also include your kid.
Okay.
These are the first 3 pillars you must start with.
Okay.
Later, once you finished your 1 year of service,
yeah,
sit down. You can take that 1 year, you can count from any month to month or January to January. It depends when you are counting. Count what is the surplus amount you are left in the bank, and then you decide how you want to invest this money. Majority, I would say, start with 80 to 90% invest into equities.
Okay. And
start early.
What you're just right now suggesting is for the early stage seafarers.
Early stage seafarers.
Like, you're not suggesting the same thing for a senior master who's just starting to invest somewhere, right?
Yes, I mean this I can actually suggest for everyone. For that, I need to know his requirements also.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I would say that no, as I said from the beginning, no one understands better than yourself.
Correct.
No one understands me better than me. So I know what I need, what I don't need, how I will be doing. So this, once you are aware, you can deploy. I'm only saying that you must start early.
Yeah.
Do not keep your funds idle. If you are okay, I mean, at times I keep my funds idle. Many times I keep my funds idle because I wait for opportunity.
Right.
So I'm not into fear of missing out anything.
Of course.
So for that, when I say that you need to open an NRE account, I must also say that in Indian context or in any place, there will be several banks. Select a bank, which is of a decent market size, probably a listed bank, and look for a bank which gives you the best interest in the market.
Sure.
Just make sure it is listed. That means it is accountable. You get the reports. You know what is happening with that bank. And put your money, open an NRE account into that bank and keep your money there. After 1 year, after spending the money for your NPS contribution, monthly contribution, after your health insurance, if not a life insurance, and then whatever surplus is there, you decide how much money you will be requiring in next 1 year.
Right.
If you are not having a job, or if there is any unfortunate things happens within your life, how much money you will be requiring to survive 1 year.
Okay.
Remove that money from that surplus money. Then whatever is left, 80% deploy. This strategies goes equally for every seafarers, whatever their rank or the stage in their life or career is. So what of that surplus, deploy 80% into pure equity.
Okay.
No less, 80%. How? Which one to select? As I explained before, imagine yourself what the sectors you think without mankind, without those sectors cannot. Or those sectors which you think without those sectors or without those, or once you have identified the sectors, think of the companies into that sectors without which you can't think India of. To have India in your mind, those companies must be there.
Right.
Think of that. Look into the integrity, the founders' integrity, the owners' integrity of those companies.
Yeah.
Make sure, even if there is even if there is any mishaps happens in the world, maybe World War III, World War IV happens, okay, if any something like coronavirus comes, right, still those companies will be into business.
Sure.
Might be the exchanges might get shut down, but the companies won't.
Won't shut down.
There will be still consumers for those products or those services.
Okay.
Invest your money. Once you have done it, your job is done. The
Right.
money will earn for you.
I see. So
Remaining 20%,
yeah.
out of that 20% whichever is left, now you look into the avenues where you are comfortable. Now that 20% could be saving into a different fund. You could put that 20% into a mutual fund. I won't say in an Indian context you start mutual fund first. I would suggest start 80% of your money in direct equity instead of mutual fund, because the fund managers has got a lot of pressures to handle their funds. They have got a lot of guidelines. They have got all states where they can go, where they cannot. But when you start yourself, you can. The world is open to you. The India is open to you. The world is open to you.
Yeah.
I would say of that 20%, 10% you select a mutual fund, whose asset management company is only into financial business. Means they are not into any different business.
Okay.
Right? They are only purely into financial. I'm talking about the AMC, asset management company,
course.
the parent company of the mutual fund.
Parent company of the mutual
Have
fund.
to be on the financial side.
So basically, the mutual funds that are catering to financial businesses, that is
no,
the sector.
No, I'm talking about the asset managers and the fund houses who have their only business as financial finance.
For example, HDFC is one.
For example, HDFC. For example, State Bank of India.
State Bank of India.
These identities in the Indian context, they have their own mutual fund business.
Right.
So I'm talking about this.
And
so for example,
core business is finance.
For example, Reliance.
Yeah.
So Reliance is not only into finance.
Right.
Reliance is into oil refining. They are into telecom. Then they have got a lot of businesses.
Right.
So say like Kotak.
Correct.
Right. So they are only into finances.
Right.
Not into Birla. So Birla have got many different businesses. So
Right.
I would suggest look for the fund houses who have only business into finance. They don't have business into other sectors.
Right. Right.
Okay. Why? Because I believe, though there is no black and white reports available in the industry, but I believe, and it's a very common sense, that at times they might have their pressures from their associated, within their group, associated entities, to buy their stocks at a time when their stocks are getting beaten. Might have, because if any of their sister companies are having a issue, and their stock prices are falling, to give a support, they may ask their associated fund managers to hold them, to buy them.
I see. Okay.
So, in case of a financial, instead of asset management companies who only have business into finances, they don't have. So, coming back to the asset allocation, once you have that 80% deployed into direct equities, out of the rest 20%, I would suggest deploy 10% into these AMCs who are into financial markets. They have their own core business into financial markets. And I would also suggest within them also select a fund house who can also, or a fund which can also invest over the borders, that is out of India, globally.
Okay.
Select a fund of these fund houses which can invest globally also.
In the mutual fund sector.
In the mutual fund. So, select a fund houses which is only into financial business. Select a fund within that fund house which also have a global exposure, or they could explore the world. At least they have in their funds. Their funds can go. So that way you can also participate into the global markets. Remaining 10%, I would suggest try to have some green investing, because there might be days ahead where you might get some tax benefit, tax credits for doing green investment. There are revenues in India where you can do green investment.
What would you say is a green
investment? Like solar investments.
Solar power.
These are alternative funds. These are different sectors at all where you can invest into green energies.
Right.
There are companies who it's a collective investment where collectively they collect money from a group of peoples,
Yeah.
and they use that money as an investment product into green energies, say like solar rooftops,
Right.
and then whatever revenues they earn, they will give you a share of that.
Okay.
So thereby you are actually doing a carbon. You will get a carbon credits, and you will also earn onto your investment. So you can do that
Okay.
10% which is remaining. You can do that 5% onto that, and 5% you can deploy into gold, or 2.5 you can put as a deposit and gold.
Fixed deposit or a deposit,
And gold.
as they say. Okay.
Yeah, and on gold, I
Okay.
would suggest on an Indian context, you can do both. If your wife loves golds, gift her
Everybody
gold.
loves gold.
Yeah, I would suggest avoid diamonds, because diamonds does not have metrics to, it is not
Increase.
regulated onto
Yeah.
the quality. You can actually, they will have. You cannot have a ready understanding of the value of a diamond.
Yeah.
It is different
Understood.
under different perspective.
Understood.
Not there is any guarantee, though you could get a certificate, but when you go to sell it, it might not fetch you the return, or you have no idea how the thing is going. After all, gold is a commodity, diamond is not.
Diamond is not investable.
Diamond is not
It's-
a commodity. It
it's
could be a
just the
good
best
thing to
friend.
Yeah, it could be.
Woman's
It could
best
be,
friend.
yes,
Yeah.
or it could be a thing to gift over,
Yeah.
but it may not be investment. So I
Understood.
could say that last 5% you can deploy into your deposit.
Yeah.
Now deposit means this is there for you in case of an emergency after you have accounted for your 12 months of contingency funds.
Yes.
Still it is there,
Right.
and the remaining 2.5% can go into gold. But if you are confident with your 12 months contingency, which you have already removed from the surplus amount before you started this exercise of deployment, then I would suggest that remaining 5% can go all the way to gold. And in Indian context, the best thing you can do is with sovereign gold bond. So you buy it from the government, sovereign gold bonds. It gives you a 6 monthly interest also.
Okay.
And then once it matures, it is a lock-in product. After the 6 years, 5 years, whatever the lock-in is decided by the government, once the lock-in opens up, it's free. Whatever the market value of the gold, you can redeem.
Tax free.
No, it is free means once the lock-in is removed,
Yeah.
whatever the gold rate on that date, it just get converted onto that.
Okay.
And you can even buy 1 gram also. So that is one way. Or if your wife loves jewelry, gold jewelry, go ahead and give the gold jewelry. It's investment which is readily available. That is a very easy asset to liquidate.
Yeah. And
Gold
for,
is a very
for,
easy
for
asset.
women seafarers, of course, this could be a very, very interesting
Yes.
prospect. Of course, they will love gold and they
Yes.
would like to invest. I just
Gold without
so-
diamonds or stones.
Yeah, you can't blame a lady for
No, of
buying a
course not.
diamond,
Of
but
course not.
it's not
But then it
investable.
won't become investment.
Yeah, that's not an investment. That's very clear. So, again, just to break it down, have your NPS account, have an NRE account. Insurance is important. It's a term insurance.
Only
They're
if you have got
suggesting-
obligations dependents.
If you have obligations, then term
Otherwise, it will
insurance-
become expenses.
Correct. Term insurance,
Important is health insurance to start early.
yeah.
So 3 things to start early.
Health insurance
Right.
as well.
Right.
Health insurance early, term insurance if you have dependent parents or children or anybody, and of course that is a given that everybody would start with a non-resident account, and as you suggested, NPS. Then after that you separate out your existing requirements, what you need, the funds you need to run your house, to live your life, and then
Whatever the surplus is remaining,
yeah,
remove
and then
the
you
12
said-
months as contingency
take 12 months out from that, keep
and
as
keep it
contingency.
liquid, complete liquid.
Keep it
Do not
completely
even
liquid.
put it into deposit.
Just the NRE
Just
savings
keep it.
account.
Just make sure in whichever bank you are putting, it's giving the highest interest.
Highest interest returns.
So-
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it is there and you are earning the highest possible.
Correct. Then you take out your surplus. If your surplus is 100%, out of that 100%,
80%
90%
direct equity.
Direct equity.
So that
no
because-
mutual funds
yeah,
business.
no mutual fund business. It's direct equity.
Okay.
How to understand? Select those things select the sectors. I
Select
can talk
the sectors
about
as you mentioned.
yeah, say like food,
Yeah.
cloth. So you could say food,
There will be-
cloth,
yeah.
entertainment. That will be always be there.
It will always be.
The pharmaceuticals companies or the hospital companies.
IT will be there.
Yeah, and the IT will definitely be there.
Right.
right? And the defense sector.
Right.
So identify the sectors. These sectors will always be there. Now the tricky thing is, it's easy to identify the sector. It will be difficult for the companies into that. Now think of the companies. If you talk about defense, as an example, can you think India without Hindustan Aeronautical Limited, HAL? The company, that's a company, the only company which manufactures our fighter jets. They are going to manufacture the 5th generations and the upcoming generations. They are having the 4.5 generations. They are maintaining all the aircrafts, all the things which we have, the Indian Air Force is having. So if you talk about India, you cannot ignore Hindustan Aeronautical Limited. Right. It will always be there. Right. You cannot ignore Bharat Dynamics Limited. Because that's the one which is producing the missiles.
Got it.
So it has to be there. You cannot ignore Bharat Electronics.
Right.
So that is the company which is actually putting all the electronics and everything.
Correct.
So once you target defense, you need security. So you target defense. Around defense sectors, this is not a suggestion, although these are the companies which you cannot ignore. Now when I say to your viewers, I also do not ask them to go and invest into these 3 companies tomorrow.
Of course.
Because what is important into equity is the price at what you are buying. It's not the company. You need to identify the sectors, the company into the sectors, and then price. You have to wait for the price to come. The price will come. It might take 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. It will come to a price.
No, but then what you're saying is, let's say I have surplus income today, and I have invested all of that, and then next month I see the price is down, but now I have nothing to invest. I have already invested. So would you suggest that you wait for the right time then, or as you suggested that you have to immediately do it
honestly,
today is the right day?
See, there are 2 things. 2 things into equity investing. We will say that in Indian concept we say Bhav Bhagwan che, means price is God. And that is universal everywhere in the world. So when you talk about equities, what price you are buying is important. Now, if the price of our equities today is $100, no one will tell you that wait another 16 months, 16 days, 16 years, the price will become $50. It's nowhere written.
Right.
But one thing we all are aware, even if any of your viewers goes back 10 years in his life, just 10 years back, or any senior viewers can go back 20 years in his life, you will see every 3, 4, 5 years, there is something big happening in the world.
Sure.
So when something happens, people just flies off. Right. They dump things in case of equities and they flies off. That is the time you deploy. So what I'm trying to say is that you cannot time the market. No one can time. It's a myth. You cannot time the market. So you wait for the price.
Right.
Now, good things can never come cheap.
Sure.
That is also a fact. If something is good, you will not get it cheap.
Sure.
But there will be times which naturally comes at different intervals when these things will be at discount. It's something like going into the shopping market and there is a discount happening, 30%, 40%, go deep dive and buy as much as possible because your company is already targeted. Now, what shall the people will do? A person who is right now finished his 4 months, 5 months contract, or a crew who have finished 9 months contract, and he knows what is his surplus, and he have got that numbers with him, deployable numbers. I would suggest once you have identified the companies, start buying those companies into small amounts. So what I'm trying to say is that, as I said that 80% deploy directly on equity, do not go at one shot. So do not go tomorrow when the market opens and deploy 80%. No.
Right.
So you will get opportunity. Use the opportunity. The biggest opportunity. Think yourself. You don't have to you don't have to read much things. It's very simple. As you said on the beginning, you said that it was at times years back when you are things gone down and when the things started becoming normal, you exited.
Not me. You did. I remember your decision.
I was there in the market. I have not withdrawn.
I exited. Yes. Correct.
Yes. So I was there. I was deploying actually. So it's very simple. Walk differently. If you want to be different in this world, you have to walk and think differently. When others are fleeing off, you go in, because your biggest bet is those companies, those sectors. It's already been decided. And tomorrow, 80% money, if you have figured it out and it's available, start buying those companies few at a time. And there will be always, irrespective of the time, year, the political situation, the geopolitical situation, there will be always some sector which is off-flavored.
Which is what?
Off-flavored means you have already identified the sectors, and you have already identified, there is always cycles. The sectors goes into cycles.
Sure.
So something will be very high and something will be very low.
Right.
So identify those sectors. Now you have already identified the sectors.
Yeah.
So even on the same sectors, there will be some companies which will be very high
and low,
and some will be low. This is all about the expectation of the people. Right. So these are all short-term expectations. So you take advantage of that.
Right.
And buy something which is, you have already selected those companies and it is available into a cheap. I'm talking about, say, through the sectors, through the companies, you have identified 10 companies.
Yeah.
Now out of 10, 8 are very high price and 2 are quite low price and it's going low. Now how you identify which price is high, which price is low?
Yeah.
Look into the historical prices. You don't have to go into the charts, or you don't have to read the technicals. I mean, if you can do that, it's nothing like it. Right. So at times I started learning technicals and I can read charts. So if you can read charts, you will understand. And if you are not able to read charts, no issues. Just look into the historical price. You will find the pivot points. Those are available into the internet. And see where the averages are. If the prices are within that price, within that range, buy it, as long as the sectors you think is going to stay till the end of your life, and the companies which you are selecting into the sectors are going to stay till the end of your life.
Okay. That's fantastic. How do you factor in crypto in all this? Because there's been so much discussion about crypto and it has taken a very, all of our viewers would be interested to know your view on that.
Yes. So my view, that's my very personal view. I do not believe into cryptos. The reason being, I do not understand the way it's my understanding. I just do not understand how the things are happening.
Yeah.
I mean, though I have a fair idea, but things which is not visible, I don't see it. When I don't see it, how can I put my money into? This is my understanding. See, cryptos are zeros and ones.
Yeah.
They are there, but you can't see it. You can feel it.
This thought actually, I mean, I have zero idea, of course, much less than yours. But what I'm getting is you used an interesting word, which you said you don't believe. I have seen this. Crypto is something that you either believe in or you don't believe in. So there is a very radical differentiation. People either believe in it or don't. Now, why should it be a belief system? Why can't it be a very, very scientific system which it's either it's all a hoax or it's not a hoax? Either way, we should be able to find out, right? I mean, see, I personally don't know as much as the equity market, but I'm quite sure that there is a science behind it. I don't have to believe in it. Of course, ups and downs will happen in the equity market. It's clear. That's also scientific. But why can't that be the approach to crypto? And I don't find many people, bringing in a scientific thing that I know that will not happen, or I know it will happen either way. I've heard some finance professionals talk about crypto being a very, very, they think that this is the only thing that can happen so either way, why should the word belief come into the picture as opposed to something?
See, if you are asking this question to me, the crypto, me as an investor, I don't see crypto.
Okay.
Right. And if I do invest, let's say I invest.
Yeah.
Let's assume that I invest X amount today into crypto. It's a digital asset. So I have invested into a digital asset. What's the main perspective? Return. All over my life, whatever investment I have done, my investment is not purely based on return. I always want to get something other than return from my investment. That is my involvement into that.
Okay.
Now, if I invest X amount into crypto, what is happening into that crypto? Why the prices are coming up? Why the prices are going down?
Not sure.
What does that particular, say like Bitcoin. It's Bitcoin is a company. Does it have its own product? No.
No.
So it's a risky asset. According to me, nothing is more riskier than the profession I am into. So I know what is risk, and I am comfortable with risk. The problem is not the risk. The problem is I do not understand what does it stands for.
Okay.
It's talking about say Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
If you say one Bitcoin presently, if you say it's say $50,000 the price, I need to understand why it is $50,000.
Yeah.
You know, you have to make it why it is 50,000. If you show me a watch, a car, and you tell me, if you show me a Rolls Royce and you tell me it is $50,000, I could correlate why it is $50,000. It's handmade. It's one in the world. It's unique. I understand.
Got it.
Right. So here I will not understand, nor either I have an involvement.
Got it.
If you talk about risk way, it will be more easy to invest into startups, into entrepreneurs who I can see, who I can interact.
Got it.
All of my investment, if it is a equity, it's a mutual fund, it's gold, I have something to devote.
Yeah.
It's not that I have invested and I forget. About me, I want to be related with my investment. Okay. I need to be engaged with my investment. The reason I find myself busy into that. Second, I could understand better the product.
Right.
And I know when to exit.
Okay.
Over years, I will know when to exit. In crypto, I will never know when to exit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What you just said, that you have to be related to the product, and I mean, whoever is into crypto, probably the blockchain concept and the other things that come within that. There are advisors.
I don't
but that's
suit.
fine. Yeah,
it is not. Yeah,
and it makes a lot of sense, because even if you believe in something, I mean, if you are involved in something, and then even if you feel that that's not a very high return instrument, you might want to still invest in it, because, for example, you might want to invest in Indian startups, as you're already doing, and I'll come to that in the last segment of this, almost towards the end already. But I just want to hit on that before we end your journey into being an angel investor, which I am quite sure that not many masters or not many captains would be able to say, not many seafarers, chief engineers, senior people would be able to say that they are angel investors. That's great. Again, I'm digressing from there. What I wanted to ask you is that I do get your point that you don't believe, I mean, you're not associated personally, there's no personal touch with crypto as such. And
I cannot relate myself with that asset class.
Absolutely.
Because, as I said, that I don't see that and I do not understand when to exit. If I don't relate, I don't get into myself, how can I find my exit point?
Sure.
Whereas in other asset class, it's there, it's definite. I could see the product or their services.
Sure.
And I can work with them. I can be with their journey, into their business. All assets are business.
Sure.
So I can be a part of that business.
Right.
In fact, it is more easy to be on with the startups,
Sure.
because the entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
the people behind that business. What is their vision? If you correlate with crypto, what is the vision of the crypto? I really do not know.
Fair enough.
But entrepreneur who is having, which is given his life into the thought, into the business which he or she believes.
Sure.
I can understand there, and if it makes a business sense to me, I'm okay into it. Now, that will also allow me to be related to them.
Sure.
To stay along with them. And when I'm staying with them, it's my investment, my money, and also my involvement into that. So, I am comfortable
Right.
that if things are not going the way it should be,
You
I
can always exit.
can make my exit. Whereas in crypto, I will have no understanding onto that.
Absolutely.
Now, coming back on angel investing, yes,
Yeah.
that was that was a quite a good way the thought came. As I love to read things, magazines, newses, many things. Whatever things I get to read, I love reading. Through my reading journey, I came to know that the new generations. It was generations when, during my age, my time, we only used to think that, okay, after our studies, we must have a good job. Preference was a government job, if not, okay, private job. But the idea was very simple, job.
Right.
And if I come from a business background family, probably I will not go for a job, I'll go for business. So all of my schoolmates, college mates used to think the same way, everyone. But the present generation are thinking out of the box, which we could not think. They are the biggest risk takers, I could say.
Right.
I've came across people who have quitted their profession, even you, right?
Yeah, right.
So I've seen people have quitted their government jobs.
Sure.
And they are chasing their dreams. So if their dreams make some business sense to me,
Sure.
I'm in. I'm there. So the government, I as a citizen of this country, the government of this country is projecting that we as a nation, we are evolving. We are going to be one of the 3 biggest nations in the world in every form.
Yes.
So they say, and I believe that we are rising. India is rising. India can only rise when people of India are thinking out of the box and delivering something which is not expected. If you look into present age, India is in everywhere leading. We have probably find our first proven drug for cancer in $100, which probably coming soon in the market.
100 rupees.
100 rupees.
That is about $1.50.
Yes. And maybe less, $1.2.
$1.2.
Yeah. And we have given so many countries during the time of Corona the vaccines. We have produced our own indigenous vaccine. We have gone to the moon. We are going to have our 5th generations aircraft. So if you look into different avenues, we as Indians are exploring different places.
Sure.
So now, as an Indian, I believe if I have to participate, if I have to think proud of my country, I must participate if I can.
Right.
In these journeys.
Right.
When people can quit their job, can think, can dream, and can fuel to the growth of India, being with these entrepreneurs, being with this nice set of people, I can actually passively participate into the growth of our nation.
Right.
Right? So this is where I can relate.
Right.
It's riskier. Those business may fail tomorrow, but I'm okay with those failures. Why? Because I understand their vision. I'm riding their journey with them.
Sure.
Because as an angel investor, you can participate in their journey. You can collaborate with them. You can guide them. You can mentor them. They will allow you to mentor, subject to you have the bandwidth and the capability.
Yeah.
Right?
So, just to take a little step back over here, how do you even become an? I mean, don't you need like $1 billion or something in your bank before you are even? I mean, who can become an angel investor? Just a little bit in a short, brief manner. That how do you transition from being a regular guy? So, I mean, everybody, is everybody qualified to be, or is everybody, what does the process look like? And also to touch upon some of the interesting companies that you have invested in during this journey. So, yeah.
Right. So, as I told you that how I started my angel investing, my vision onto that. And then I started finding out that how I can become angel investor. My vision was to participate into the India growth story.
Okay.
With the present generation.
Okay.
With the actual risk takers.
Okay.
So then the question came, how? Then I started going through the informations which is freely available on the internet. And then I understand in our country, in India, it's a SEBI regulated, Security Exchange Bureau of India, SEBI regulated alternative investment funds category 1. It's a completely controlled investment.
Okay.
And then when I came to know that, then I kept on studying more, learning more. And then I understand that there are lot of groups, it's if I correlate it, it's nothing but it's a mutual fund. Mutual fund invest into listed companies. Your angel investing through AIF, alternative investment is considered AIF, alternative investment firm. They invest into startups.
Okay.
Right. So I started my journey with a company called Venture Catalyst.
Venture Catalyst.
You can select, there are many companies, as you can select your AMCs in case of mutual fund. I will try to correlate it, startup investment with mutual fund, because it is easily, easily related to.
Okay.
It will be easy for understanding.
Right.
So as you know, AMCs like SBI Mutual Fund, HDFC Mutual Fund, and so on and so forth. You got venture catalyst, and you got different others also,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So you have to. I selected them, and then what you have is that the regulations.
Any
in Indian
particular
context.
reason why you went for this particular venture catalyst?
Okay, when I researched, I came to know that they are the number one.
Okay.
They are the oldest, and the people behind that, the way they move is quite different. So I have done a comparison, and then I found even the data says that they are number one and they are number three or number two in world.
Number one in terms of the amount invested, or
The success rate, the investment, it's a
okay.
Across different metrics.
Okay.
So it's the return, the success mean it's a very risky class.
Yes.
The business can go bankrupt also. In that case, you might lose your investment, but it's quite risky.
Yeah.
So, but it's not. I believe, according to me, it's not that risky like a crypto.
Okay.
Right. So it's
Right.
still there. I mean, those are zeros and ones. I don't know. But
Yeah.
you still have those people who are working,
Yeah.
their visions, their products. Yeah. So in our Indian context, what you have is that if you want to invest into that, you need a minimum investment capital of 25 lakhs. That's a minimum capital.
That is how much you have to invest.
Yeah, that's a minimum. You
Yes.
need to
Can go
bring
on
onto
to
the table 25 lakhs.
Okay.
And that's a minimum, maximum is infinity.
Okay.
Now, any person who have money cannot be an AIF investor, cannot be an angel investor. There are a few categories required. One of the category is that you could be also entrepreneur. You could be also invest. You could have a angel investing experience, or you could be entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. The one which is applicable to us, that one of the requirement is that you must have professional knowledge on a management level rank.
I see.
So we all who are senior officers into a profession, we are into management level rank. We are certified and designated and termed as.
Okay.
Right. So you
It
need to be
cannot-
managers on a say.
No.
Yes.
Let's say a businessman.
No, he can't be.
Oh.
He need to be on a businessman is managing his business.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, if he is a CEO or COO or CFO
He
on
can.
his business, probably yes.
Okay.
Say like a person who is having a magazine stall, or a person who sells milk. He's a milkman.
Yeah.
Right. It's his business, and he does a second-hand car resale purchase business, but he cannot come. He need to be postgraduate, and
Okay.
he need to have a management thinking of that. I mean, experience,
Okay.
and his net worth must be more than 2 crore. That
Okay.
is excluding his house.
Excluding his house,
His
you mean
house.
he must have expendable income or liquid cash or some
Investable
kind of
amount,
invest-
that is his net worth minus his
minus house.
house.
Okay.
If he's having more than one house, that can be considered.
Counted. Okay.
But if he's having one house, you cannot cut the trunk where you are sitting, right? So it's something like that. So
Okay.
house cannot be considered as a part of net worth if you're living into it,
Okay. Okay. Understood.
right?
Yeah.
So these are the 3 criteria.
So the criteria
once
is-
you have 25 lakhs,
Yeah.
once you have a management experience, and your net worth is more than 2 CR minus the house, you are okay with the requirements for onboarding as an angel investor.
So then you become you register in this firm and then you pay them some money to become, or how does it work? You pay them some annual fees or something so that you can remain.
So once you are there, once you satisfy these 3 criteria, you must be a management person. You have handled
These 3 things.
as a manager, and you must have a 2 CR minus the house, and you
25 lakhs.
25 lakhs you must bring
Investable
on the
income.
table, right?
Yes.
So then you need to select a AMC in a case of a mutual fund. You need to select a angel investor group or a venture capitalist. In my case, it was venture catalyst. That's the
Right.
name of the company.
Right.
And then they will do their onboarding process to
Okay.
get into agreement, and then your journey starts. Now, what will happen is that they will do before the introduction, they will do a lot of vetting on the entrepreneurs. And once all the entrepreneurs, all the companies, all the startups, they have vetted, there are a lot of stages of vetting.
Yeah.
They will get you on the table and those startups, and then you can select. There are two ways to do it. You can only put your money, select the startups. You can commit the money, select the startups and forget. And another way is you can start being a mentor, hand-holding them also.
Okay.
Subject to you have a expertise or a knowledge onto that business, or something which might help the founders,
okay,
and the founders are agreeing to accept you.
Take your suggestion.
Right.
Okay.
But the opportunity is always there.
Right.
This is not there in case of mutual fund.
Yeah.
You are investing and you are forgetting. The fund managers are taking the decision, whereas the direct equities, you are taking the decision which companies to invest.
Absolutely.
Here,
of course,
you are able to decide which company to invest.
Sure. Wonderful.
It is not the times of return.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, the return must be there.
Yeah.
But I do not look the returns into numbers, into times. To me, I am propelling the growth of India.
Okay.
I am being a part to those dreamers who can dream, rigs themselves. I am happy to be being into a journey, doing a journey along with them. So that is myself. I mean, that is my understanding of my investment. My investment thesis is very simple. I need to be correlate myself to that asset class. I need to be a part of journey of that particular asset class.
Understood. Great. So that's fantastic. And just real quick, one or two examples of the companies that you have invested in till now.
Okay. As of now, I have not invested, but I have been committed to. Without taking the names, I could say that what they are into.
Yeah.
I'm committed with 5 companies now. One is they are into drones industry.
Okay.
Okay. So they are the critical supplier of a drone spares, or you can talk about a critical component, without which the drone does not exist. Right. So it's something like, for like a car, you need to have a tire. Without the tire, the car cannot roll.
Yeah.
In case of a drones, you need to have rotors.
Yeah.
So this is a company who is making rotors.
These propellers and
the propellers, the rotors, not the motors. Their prime business is the blades, the rotors.
Okay.
And they design it themselves and they make it. So you can, if you are a drone manufacturer, you can make a drone based on the use case you are having, and you don't have to go to the market and buy from the shelf whatever the propellers or the rotors are available. You can come to this startup and you can tell your requirements, and they will give you those rotors which is required for your drones. It is your specific.
Okay. Drone
they are capable.
Is one area.
They are capable to have the rotors for drones which can be in high altitude area like Kargil.
Okay.
For defense use case. And they can also make rotors for the drones. Tomorrow, if ISRO is sending something on Mars and they want to put a drone lander there, startup can also make a propeller for them. I mean the rotors.
Understood.
So what is this? We're into this industry. I have got a company who is making it's a startup. They are making commercial vehicles, EV, but these vehicles are heavy commercial vehicles. I'm talking about trucks, 18 tons to 55 tons.
I see.
And they have succeeded onto some parameters. They have exceeded those parameters where Tesla have failed.
I see.
Okay, so there are trucks, where they have failed. Specifically, if I come into this particular, and I'm proud to be associated with them. Right. That company being Indian and I being Indian,
Right.
So it's something which of Tesla, such a big company, have not succeeded, and they have succeeded. EV batteries in a very cold climate conditions, sub-zero conditions, they cannot perform or may underperform.
Okay.
So those areas, sub-zero temperatures, where Tesla have not performed or have performed below, they have done much better than Tesla.
Okay.
So if you talk about India context,
something
we are going probably very soon going to have heavy commercial vehicles which can go into Kargil, go into high altitude
remotest
areas,
or high
remotest
altitude
area.
areas.
Yes. So this startup is into that,
Wonderful.
and it's a fully integrated things they are making.
Right.
Something which our country have not ever witnessed. Something which our present manufacturers of our commercial vehicles have never thought of or done into.
Okay.
And they are getting themselves into a very lucrative price point. Probably the Chinese can never bring that also.
I
So
see.
something what they are into that.
So they're beating the Chinese.
Yes, even my
manufacturers
startup
in
into that
price.
propeller, the
Yeah.
drone sector is also beating the Chinese. They are the one company in the world which is cost effective than a Chinese company and better than any German company or American company into performance and efficiency.
Wow.
So they are beating their benchmarks also.
So they are beating the Chinese companies in price and the American company Tesla
on
in
performance.
the technology. Wonderful. That is fantastic.
Yes.
What are the others?
Right.
quick?
So I'm into another startup who are into they have gone. You have heard about ChatGPT?
Yeah.
So that's an artificial intelligence company.
Yes.
So this company is into something which India has made equivalent to ChatGPT, and probably we are going to use it for everything in our India context. Called Bharat GPT. So I'm into with a company it's a startup.
Okay.
So they are into that, and as you are aware that in India we started with Visa and MasterCard, and years back we have our own unified payment system. So UPI. In future, very shortly, probably India will have their own GPT. So it's going to be Bharat GPT.
Okay.
And this startup is a backbone to that. It's that's they have created, and through that they are doing a conversational, AI bots.
Okay.
So it's very unique, and they are into that.
Wonderful. Okay.
I'm into another startup who is doing something revolution into image scanning. They are into health industry.
Image scanning. Okay.
Image scanning. I'm talking about CT scan and MRI scans.
Okay.
So these startups have developed artificial generative AI. They are using generative AI to develop a software, which they are going to sell it as a service, which is going to reduce the radiation hazard of CT and MRI scan by 30 to 40%.
Wow.
And decrease the scanning time by 1/3. So if a MRI scan takes in conventionally 30 minutes, so it will reduce to 10 minutes. Thereby,
these things are these things, all of them, the due diligence is carried out by the the venture catalyst firm.
Yes, I mean,
before it comes to you, that they are whatever they are saying they are doing.
So I'm with the house.
They have proved that.
Yes. It's not only proved, they are revenue positive, and in fact, this particular company is going to sell. I'm talking about this particular Indian startup, which is going to. They are entering Brazil, Latin America soon.
Right.
Mean 1 quarter time, and by end of this year they are going in America.
Okay.
So what is happening? What this startup is doing is that they are actually the diagnosis for this CT and MRI. They are doubling it up, the probability of detecting a disease with their methodology, and the original equipment manufacturer, they have no problems because they are not putting their software into those equipments. It is outside the equipment. So they are reducing the time of the scans, thereby facilitating the patients. They are reducing the time of the patient, the turnaround time.
Okay.
So in a conventional way, if present hardwares are able to scan, able to give service to 10 patients in say 6 hours time, it will do 18 patients into the same time. So in our country or in the whole world, there are many people who waits to have their turn.
And it might also cut down on the operation. I mean, the cost of
cost
operating
will come down.
The cost will MRI is a very expensive thing.
Right. And it does not, these startups to provide the service, it does not necessitate to change the hardwares. So it's basically, it's not the money. It's what they are addressing. We need this. There are so many people who needs first scanning, first image scanning to facilitate the doctors, and it helps the doctors also to reduce their diagnosis time to detect the problem.
So, what are the other? You mentioned three of them.
Right. So no, this is I said four of them.
Yeah,
so,
four of them you mentioned.
Yeah.
And
So
what was
one
the
is
last?
yeah. So my fifth startup which I am into is a company which is actually addressing a very mass and a severe problem, especially in India's context. Indian context.
Yeah.
It's about parking.
Car parking.
I'm sure there are many other parts of the world where the problem is more or less same, but parking nowadays is a issue, right? So what it is addressing is that in a conventional way, if I want to give you a glimpse of what they are doing, in a conventional way, in Indian context, in any city, any place you think of, you drive with your car and then you arrive to the place and then you start searching for a good parking spot or a parking spot.
Yeah.
Maybe good or maybe bad. And then once you park your car, many of the cases you have to leave the key.
Yeah.
Some places you can go ahead with the key, but there are many places which you have to keep the key with the attendant. And then you are off, right? So once you come back, you may not find your vehicle there, or maybe it is already damaged, or probably it has been towed off. Right, and while towing it might get damaged. So this is a unique problem in our city, and most of the times you will be overcharged. Right, so you actually burn a lot of fuel, you pay a lot of time to find a spot. So what this startup is doing, this startup is using technology, and they are thinking their expertise and a process where you just drive into before you leave your home, or the time you decide that you are going to that place. Okay, so like you have from your home you are going to your office, and then from office you decided to go place A. The time you decide, you just select, they will have an app, so you just select that place A that you are arriving, and that's it. And you don't have to even tell what time you are arriving. Okay, there are options. I mean, there are, okay, you will be arriving 2 hours, you are starting your journey or not. Okay, but your phone is actually, once you start the journey, the phone, the GPS is actually giving it is telling you that so and so point how many hours to reach. It's also transmitting the same information to those guys.
Okay.
Right. But that's only information. It is not sharing your location. It is only sharing the time.
Distance and time.
Yeah, it's the ETA they are getting.
Okay.
So when you arrive that location, that could be anywhere in India or in world. Once you arrive into that location, you will find an attendant there waiting for you.
Right.
So there will be a OTP validation that the attendant is the valid one, a genuine guy, and then you just hand over as a valet to him, hand over the car and the key to him, and you move on to your place where you want to go. Now the person will pick up that car, and based on your ETA, they have already kept a slot space for you. Now this attendant knows where the slot is, where the space is.
Okay.
He will take the car exactly to that space, park it there. It's a designated place which is there for you.
Okay.
Okay, and it will take a photo, 360-degree photo of your car and the ticket, the parking ticket, and they will send you by link or through WhatsApp or through the app.
Okay.
So when your job is finished, you just tell the location where you want to bring that car, and you say that, okay, bring my car, right, and drop it. So they will pick the car to you there, and you just drive. Anything happens to the car during this handover and taking back, it is fully covered. They have insured any damages, anything, it will be 100% covered. And the chance of you see how much time you save, how much money you save on fuel and all, and they charge very less. It's something like in India you got Zomato, Swiggy, right? You got Oyo hotels, which is aggregators, right? These are the restaurant aggregators, they are the hotel aggregators,
right.
They are the parking aggregators. So they are not competing with the new parking areas. I mean, it's crores and crores of amount of money which is generated in India for a particular place. If I talk about Calcutta,
okay,
we generate about 40 crores per day for parking.
Right.
That's a government revenue get generated.
I see.
Theoretically.
I see.
But the government may not get that full, because most of the time it is by cash.
Yeah, right.
And there is always a slippage. So this startup is doing completely electronically. So you pay by UPI card or basically, Google Pay or Phone Pay. There is no slippage, and they are the aggregator.
Okay.
So if you are having a designated parking, you have got auctioned that parking and you have taken that parking, you are managing that area, they will come and aggregate with you. So whatever your charges is, whatever your present charges is, they will pay you and they will charge a small amount over and top of that.
Sure.
And up 50% even for that they are paying to that guys. So they are just nothing but a Swiggy, Zomato and parking. And they have some other also, it's not the one business they are into parking. They do also for the malls, where it's completely humanless on the cash collection part.
Okay.
Right. And they are also there for the housing societies. So this is a startup which I believe I could correlate. It's a genuine problem,
Sure.
parking problem, and it's first time a company is coming, a startup is coming, who is solely looking into aggregating the this pay.
Fantastic. So I think this is pretty much a Shark Tank kind of a situation where startups are pitching their ideas on a daily basis to you, and that's very inspiring that you have reached that enough bandwidth that you could actually because I don't think many people would get this opportunity. But that's fantastic. Your angel investing journey is very, very inspiring. Just before we leave the podcast, if we could go over couple of interesting do's and don'ts for the seafarers in the investment space, in the financial space from you. Yeah. What should they do? What should they don't?
Do's. You must start your investing early as possible.
Investment.
Early investment.
Okay.
Keep your money idle. Do
That's
not keep your money
because
it's your hard-earned money. Make sure your money is also working for you.
Right.
And working hard.
Yes.
To ensure if you do not get sufficient opportunity right now, you must keep those idle funds into a account which gives you the maximum interest. Make sure that bank is listed bank and of having a good capital both in the market.
Okay.
Right. Next, do's will be insurance only and only if you have got liabilities.
Right.
You mean today you may not have you may not have dependents, but tomorrow if you are having dependents, you get married, right? You have your family, you must make your insurance. But here there is one caveat that once your net worth increases and cross away the insured amount, stop your insurance. Premium is expenses. So once your net worth is more valuable or it's more.
Okay, so what you're saying is, let's say you do a term insurance and the term insurance is only encashable on death.
Right.
So if you have done a term insurance of, let's say, 1 crore or $100,000, what you're saying is, if your net worth is more than $100,000, stop investing in that.
If you do not have $100,000, okay, you can make the insurance. The day you have $100,000, stop paying the premium for that insurance because you are having that.
You are having that, but isn't the point that you have paid so much money? That's an additional $100,000 which you could have got when your family could have got on your death. So isn't that adding on to whatever you have now? I mean, isn't that?
See, according to me, it is expenses.
Okay.
These expenses will increase.
Okay.
My point is that once my net asset is more than the insured amount, why should I pay?
But what happens to the
talking about legacy back to the family?
Correct.
To the dependents, my net worth. So when I'm not there, it's there.
Correct.
So let me use that premium into the investment products which I'm comfortable with.
Fair enough.
So that was expenses until I reach that net worth. The day I reach my net worth, I use that premium as an investment.
Okay.
I fund my other investment sectors. So I use that amount. I don't consume it. I put more investment. That way it is increasing more.
All right. So number one do was to invest early, invest fast.
Right.
And number two was to insure yourself as long as you have dependents. And then what else?
And then continue with your insurance until your net worth touches a substantial amount and then withdraw.
Correct.
And use that premium into your investment product.
Investment product.
Right. Grow more your things. Make a will. You must make a will even when you are at your younger stage.
Really?
Whatever assets you have.
Okay.
So a will is for your legacy planning. That is required. Okay. You must ensure that whoever your dependents or your friends, your families, whatever you wish to have from you, they are getting it even when you are not there.
Yeah, right.
So you must have a will from your beginning stage, and you can keep on changing a number of times whenever you want it.
Okay.
But the idea is to have a will.
Okay.
You must have your NPS, a pension scheme, because you come from a sector which does not gives you pension.
Yes.
So you must
So
build
you
your
mentioned
pension.
about that pension.
Health
I
insurance.
just want to come back to this will thing. What is the point of having a will if I know that whatever my assets are only going to go to one person and there is no other person that can claim this asset? What is the problem? What is the advantage of making a will in that case?
See, chances of this kind of scenario is quite less, I would say.
Okay.
Means it is very rare that you will not have brothers and sisters. If you do not have also, now who is this one person? It could be your wife. Okay, if it is your wife, there might be another woman who can turn around when you are not there and say that, oh, come on, he had married me, but here is my marriage certificate.
Okay.
You see, I'm not saying that you would have affairs with a woman, but any woman can come and say, this is my marriage certificate. And we were married on some day and we had a relation. Right, so this is there. You might have someone no person in the world is alone.
Okay.
They will have some kind of relation. Uncle, auntie, brothers, cousins. So
Right, okay.
anyone can come
It's
down.
just safer, you're saying, just to have a will and to be very clear about what
Not
you want
only
to do.
if you have kids, more than one kids, even they can fight.
Yeah.
So the idea is
Sure,
that
sure.
to make sure that whatever you are leaving behind is going to the exact people who you wish to,
yeah.
and there is no fight generating out of your savings,
Yeah.
wealth,
Your will.
and assets.
Got it. So very
will.
clear. So what is the next do or don't?
Right. So
Yeah.
you must start once you must find the surplus. You need to know what is your surplus amount.
Yeah.
And you
totally
must keep
best.
your 12 months, your mandatory expenses, whatever you need money for your living,
Separate.
into 12, separate as your contingency fund.
Don't invest.
Ideally, that should lay idle, not even deposit, just in your bank.
Just in your bank. In
That
liquid
will have
cash.
two things. That will have two things. Your credit score will increase in case you want to go for debt, a loan in future.
Okay.
It's a bank balance which will be there.
Yeah.
Your credit score will be there. And secondly, you'll have a good relation also with the bank. Right. So
Okay.
you will get a lot of freebies possibly
Okay.
in Indian context, right?
Okay.
Services.
Yes. Yes.
So that is there.
That is
and
there,
make sure it's also earning a decent interest.
Right.
There are banks in India which gives you 7%, 6.5% also.
Sure.
So it's as liquid as it is, 12 months contingency fund. Balance, go direct with 80% investment onto equities, because we seafarers can correlate with the equities. Remaining 20%, 10% you can put into mutual funds. Look into the mutual funds where they are into this.
AMCs are into
AMCs are into financial
sector.
sectors only.
Right.
They don't have any other business out of the financial sectors.
Yeah.
And remaining 10% have some gold and some deposit or gold.
Right.
Or green products. So
Green
whichever you're comfortable. Gold must be there in your portfolio.
Okay.
Either into sovereign gold bonds, SGBs, or
In
as
physical
jewelry.
gold. As
The
jewelry.
physical gold.
Okay.
Right? Do not consider diamond as an investment.
Okay. Diamond
Property,
is
if it's your first home, you are okay to go for a debt for your home,
Yeah.
for the home
right.
purpose. But if you are planning for second home, do a proper calculation, put it on the papers, see if the same money can earn better
Yeah.
with a lower liquidity or a easy liquidity and an easier risk.
Right.
Please move ahead.
Fair enough.
Right? So that is it. Crypto, I would suggest that there are better concept than cryptos. Normally cryptos is only leading to times, how many times you are earning. I would suggest become an angel investor, be part to the growth story of your country wherever you live.
Yeah.
Every country have got a growth story. The millennials are everywhere. Support them, and you will have for sure, if you talk about returns, if you are doing
The
your
emotional
homework,
return is
yes, not only the emotional part, about returns, you'll probably earn many times more than what crypto gives you,
right.
or theoretically it can give you,
Right.
right? And important is that you are part of that journey,
Yeah.
right? So these are the do's, don'ts. As already I said, do not consider insurance as investment. It's complete no. Any kind of insurance which has been marketed as investment, insurance cannot be investment.
Okay.
It's no.
Okay.
Do not consider that. It's a myth.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So, don'ts would say, money should not be idle. Yeah, that's a
Right.
don't.
That's
right.
that you mentioned.
Do not churn your portfolio. If once you are investing, you must have some logics,
Yeah.
some
And
some
you should
case
keep
points.
it for a couple of years.
Yeah. Do not look into the returns. Do not churn. Do not disturb unless the reasons behind those investments stays intact.
Okay.
Think long term. Do not look into short terms. We seafarers are not for short terms. Concentrate on your profession. Go back to sea.
Absolutely not suggesting anybody looks at that chart every day and then
No.
say something, buy
Do's,
something.
on do's, I would suggest open your portfolio. Whenever you have good internet connection, look into the portfolio and look the value of the portfolio. That I will suggest.
Don't do anything about it.
No, I mean,
don't sell immediately.
make a habit of looking into the gains. I'm talking about the notional gains, the theoretical gains, which notional gains are the gains which is there on the paper, which is not realized.
Correct. You have not withdrawn it, so
Yeah,
it's not a
so
real
it's
gain,
there.
but it is
Yeah,
there in
it could
paper.
be red, it could be green, it could be minus, it could be plus.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that you can consider as a do's.
Yeah.
Make a habit of looking into the portfolio values. That will probably actually mature your psychological thinking onto investing. Because I would say in this way, at times you could see your investment, your portfolio value going down.
Yeah.
If you do not make a habit, you may become you can get a shock.
Sure.
And you could be very fearful and can withdraw.
Yeah.
So make a habit. If you make a daily, if it's possible to look into your I know there are many people who will say do not look into a portfolio every day. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the same thing in a different way. Look into your portfolio, but don't do anything.
Don't do anything. Even
do
if
not
it pains
do not
you.
get tempted. Do not. You take the pain. Look into the portfolio, the losses which you can see, the pain. You will absorb the pain. And very soon, over a period of time, you will understand this is nothing. It's up and down.
Makes a lot of sense.
It's your weather.
Of course.
Okay, and then because what I'm trying to say is that it will actually tempt you. Oh my God, so much money I have earned. Oh my God, I have lost so much money. Over time, if you keep on looking into your portfolio, you will actually you will become a monk. It does not affect you.
Right.
Red or green doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
You will understand the actual meaning of notional. That will immensely help you when things are bad globally.
Right.
Or nationally.
Right.
Right. You know that it's simple bad weather outside.
Got it.
Right. So those will be do not churn because you are the master of yourself. You are not a fund manager. That is the reason I have reduced the mutual fund investment only 10%. Right. 80% on direct equities. So this is don'ts.
And just before we finish, if you can give me one number that you have invested for, let's say, a number of years, maybe any number of years, and what is the percentage gain on that, whichever the number is, and how many years?
In my portfolio, if we talk about equities, so far I have accumulated 5 companies, which is completely bankrupted. Right, they do not exist anymore.
5 of them
have completely gone, and I got more than 10 companies who have given me 22 times return, more than 22, all above 20, I should say.
Okay.
In 6 years' time.
2,200%. That is 22 times.
Yes, 22 times. I'm talking about 22 times in more than 6 years' time.
Okay.
Now, please understand that it is not that I have invested into that company 6 years back and I have not done anything. No, in past 6 years, I have got many opportunities to further invest. So, whenever there was discounts, I kept on collecting their stocks, their equities. So, this is there and yes.
So, these are the high performing ones you're saying?
My complete portfolio over a period, it's completely full. All are green. And probably 3-4 companies are less than 50%. All are more than 50% to the list.
Right.
And 10 companies are more than 20 times. I'm talking about
20 times. Yes. Wonderful.
Yes. And if you talk about exit strategy, yes, many times I have these questions in my ships. When I discuss this with my juniors and
When should you exit?
And when to exit from equities.
Sure.
I would say that as long as your investment thesis is intact, this is my thinking, I never exist. I mean, I take an exit.
You don't take an exit unless you need the funds or you need.
No, as long as my investment thesis is intact, the reason why I invested into that company, if that stays intact, I stay put all the way. The only thing which I do is that when I cross land, I mean, I will say milestones.
Yeah.
To me, milestones are 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. These are my self-made milestones.
Right.
So when I reach 5 times, I pull 25% of my investment money. When I go 10 times, I pull out.
Okay.
I pull out. When I go 10 times, I pull 100% of my, that's another 70% of my investment amount, I pull it out. So what I try to create or form, I look myself into like a farmer, you know. I have plowed my different plants. Those are each company stocks. Now, when it starts giving me fruit, I have watered all the way. I have stayed all the way long. And when it started giving the fruits, I have sold the fruits into the market and pulled out the money which I have spent onto that plant. So and now I'm not no more selling. I am having everything for myself.
Correct. That's a very interesting thing.
So presently, if I talk about presently, 80% of my portfolio is 100% risk free. In other words, I am actually taking off the risk. So all of my investment money which was there, I have pulled back. I have brought back.
Right.
Either I have consumed or I have invested into a different asset.
And followed the same process.
Yes.
Very
and then when something is there, my investment thesis are there. Now that means what? When I have pulled back my investment money, whatever is there, if there is a loss of 50% also, I'm still on profit.
Yes, you are not spending your own money at all.
And remember, I keep on having dividends from those companies regularly. I keep on getting bonus from the company regularly. Right. So there will be split, bonus and dividends all the way.
Right.
So and it's completely risk free. I keep on monitoring, and if I need some money, say like tomorrow I plan to travel, or I want to plan to buy a car, or I want to change my car or something different, or I get a better opportunity to invest, right? So I will not cut those trees which is giving me 20 times. So I will not exit. Probably over a period, things which is giving me 3 times, 4 times, maybe I will remove that and I move away in some other asset class. So as long as my investment thesis is intact, I stay.
Wonderful. Great. That is a fantastic insight.
And if there is something wrong, if I make mistakes, it's very common. The day I realize it is a mistake, or mistakes could be my understanding, or could be informations which I have collected, or things change. There are many things which is not in your hand, which changes. I do not take much time to make a full exit. And even if that makes booking losses, I'm absolutely happy of making booking losses. That is a notional loss to me. I made a loss, I have booked whatever is there, I pull out, and then I put the money into some other investment case.
Understood.
So I'm very much okay booking my losses. Understood. Every year, if I see there are some losses into a portfolio and there is reasons that this company should not perform the way I be thought to be, things are not going the way it is supposed to go, I make an exit, and then I'm happy to sit on cash till I get opportunity.
Fantastic. So that's we have come to the end of the podcast now, and any parting thoughts that you want to leave us with Yes, I would encourage all my seafarer friends and any friends or any viewers who are looking into that. You live once, you must live to your fullest, and to make sure that you are living fullest, you will need money, you will need things to spend, right? So make sure your money is also working when you are working or when you are not. So live your life, and if you can do a proper investment, you can establish a proper process according to you, according to your understanding, your requirement. It's tailor-made for you, made by you. Then I would say that you can live more years biologically. I mean, I have probably, if I say I'm not going to sell anymore, at the age of 46, I had stopped selling, and if I call it as a retirement, my biological age could be 46, but the amount of wealth I have created and the
flow of money I have ensured to me, probably it's 30 years ahead of me.
Correct. Perfect. It's a perfect segue to finish this podcast. Thank you so much, Partho. It was always nice
My
to talk to
pleasure.
you as usual.
Thank you. My
Thanks.
pleasure.